What if everything you thought you knew about the natural world was wrong? We are taught to see the wild through a lens of survival, of predator and prey, with a strong devour the weak. But what if, in the harshest of seasons, in the most desperate of moments, compassion could emerge from the most unlikely of places? This is not just a story of a rescue. It's a story that challenges our deepest assumptions about the world and about the quiet, unexpected language of empathy. Our story begins in the Ol Pejeta Conservancy, a sprawling sanctuary of hope and resilience. On this particular morning, a brilliant sun had just begun its ascent, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink. Its light filtered through the tall trees, creating a dappled effect on the lush green undergrowth. The air was filled with the gentle rustling of leaves and the faint buzz of insects, a symphony of life playing in perfect harmony. In a dense, leafy part of the forest, a family of gorillas was going about its morning routine. The adults, with their powerful frames and thoughtful eyes, were grazing peacefully on young leaves. But among them, there was a tiny spark of pure, unbridled energy, a baby gorilla, no more than a year old. He was a curious little creature, his world an endless playground of new sights and smells. Suddenly, a flash of vibrant blue caught his eye. A magnificent blue morpho butterfly, its wings a startling sapphire against the green forest floor, fluttered past. The little gorilla's eyes widened with delight. Forgetting all the unspoken rules of the troop, he scrambled to his feet, his tiny hands reaching out to the beautiful, dancing insect. He chased the butterfly, a whimsical dance between a creature of the earth and a creature of the air. He darted between ancient tree roots, hopped over smooth, sun-warmed rocks, and giggled with every beat of the butterfly's wings. He was completely captivated, a world away from the watchful eyes of his family. His innocent chase led him further and further away from the safety of his troop, into a part of the forest he had never explored before. The butterfly, like a mischievous guide, led him past a thicket of tangled bushes. Hidden behind them was a relic from a forgotten time, an old, derelict stone well. Its circular opening was partially covered in moss, its stone walls worn smooth by centuries of rain and sun. The little gorilla, his eyes still fixed on the butterfly, didn't see the hole until it was too late. He stumbled on the uneven ground, his tiny feet losing their grip. With a surprised squeak, he fell into the darkness below. In the quiet of the forest, a moment of play had just turned into a terrifying fall. The well, fortunately, was not deep, and the water had long since dried up, leaving a bed of soft, damp earth at the bottom. But for the small gorilla, it was an alien world, dark, cramped, and inescapable. He was trapped. His playful giggles were replaced by heart-wrenching wails, small hands scrambling uselessly at the smooth stone walls. His cries of distress, sharp and piercing, cut through the peaceful morning air, a desperate plea for help that seemed to go unheard. But that's where our story takes its first unexpected turn. Not far from the well, in a thicket of tall grass, a formidable figure was lying in wait. He was a magnificent male lion, his golden mane a halo around his powerful face. He was an apex predator, a symbol of brute strength and a relentless hunger. This morning, he was on the hunt, his senses tuned to the slightest movement of a gazelle or a zebra. Initially, the high-pitched cries from the well were just a distraction, an irritating noise in his domain. He growled softly, a sound of warning and irritation. But as the cries continued, a flicker of something else, curiosity, perhaps, or a deep, primal sense of unease, stirred within him. He rose slowly to his feet, his muscles rippling under his tawny coat. He moved with a silent, predatory grace, his massive paws making no sound on the forest floor, drawn by an instinct he couldn't name. He arrived at the edge of the well, his powerful frame looming over the small, dark opening. His amber eyes, usually filled with fierce focus, peered down into the gloom. He saw the tiny, trembling form of the baby gorilla, huddled against the cold stone, its cries growing weaker with every passing moment. The hunter's gaze softened. He didn't roar. He didn't pounce. He simply stood there, a silent sentinel watching over a tiny creature that should have been his natural prey. For a long, silent moment, he just watched. Then, without a sound, he turned away and walked back into the forest, leaving the helpless creature behind. What the lion did next would challenge everything we know about instinct and survival. Just when all hope seemed lost for the baby gorilla, two heroes of a different kind entered the story. Alex and Sarah, two seasoned park rangers from the OL Pagetta Conservancy, were on their morning patrol. They were the silent guardians of this land, tasked with protecting both the animals and the delicate ecosystem they called home. As they drove down a familiar trail, they spotted something out of place. It was the male lion from before, standing in the middle of a clearing, not hunting, not resting, but simply watching them. Alex, an experienced ranger, immediately felt a knot of unease. "That's strange," he murmured, his hand resting on the radio. "He's not moving, and he's not acting aggressively." Sarah, equally observant, pointed toward the lion's unusual posture. "Look, he keeps looking back at us, then forward, almost like he's trying to show us something." Cautiously, they got out of their vehicle, their senses on high alert. The lion, seeing their attention, began to walk slowly down a narrow, overgrown path, occasionally glancing over his shoulder to ensure they were following. It was a bizarre, almost unbelievable sight. A wild lion, an animal synonymous with danger, was acting as their guide. They followed him, their confusion turning into a profound sense of awe. The lion led them directly to the thicket of bushes, where he stopped and looked pointedly at the ground. There, half hidden by overgrown ferns, was the moss-covered well. And from within, they could hear a faint, pitiful sound, a tiny cry that was almost swallowed by the silence of the forest. The lion, his job seemingly complete, looked back at the rangers one last time before turning and disappearing into the trees. As the rangers approached the well, their hands over their mouths in silent shock, they began to understand the unbelievable truth of what they had just witnessed. The moment of truth had arrived. Staring down into the dark well, Alex and Sarah saw the shivering baby gorilla, its small body pressed against the cold stone. Sarah immediately took charge, her voice soft and reassuring. "Hey there, little one," she cooed. "It's okay. We're here now. We're going to get you out." While Sarah spoke, a calm and soothing presence, Alex quickly and efficiently prepared their rescue gear. He took out a sturdy green winch along with a harness. He attached the harness to the winch's cable, making sure everything was secure, then carefully lowered the end of the line into the well. The baby gorilla, initially terrified of this new intrusion, seemed to respond to Sarah's gentle voice. With her careful guidance and some gentle coaxing, he managed to grasp the harness. Alex slowly turned the handle of the green winch, carefully and gently lifting the little creature to safety. The rescue was successful in a matter of minutes. The baby gorilla, trembling and exhausted, was finally on solid ground. Its tiny eyes, still brimming with tears, looked up at its human saviors with a mixture of fear and relief. But the most incredible part of the rescue was something the rangers only noticed afterward. As they checked the baby's health, they saw him, the lion. He had not left. He was standing on a small rise, a short distance away, silently watching the entire process. He only turned and walked away once he was sure the small life he had guided them to was finally safe. It was a wordless farewell, a nod of acknowledgement between species. The story of this little one wasn't quite finished yet. After a quick health check and a reassuring glance from the rangers, it was time for the final, most important part of the journey, to be brought home. Using bio-tracking data from the troop's monitoring collars, the rangers were able to pinpoint the family's location. The reunion was a sight to behold. As the rangers brought the baby gorilla back into the forest, a profound silence fell over the area. The mother gorilla, sensing her child's return, let out a soft, low sound of relief. She rushed forward, her powerful arms wrapping around her child in a tight embrace. She inspected every inch of his body, checking for injuries, her face a mask of worry and love. The rest of the troop gathered around them, a protective circle of family, their soft vocalizations a gentle welcome home. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. O.L. Pagetta has seen countless wild tales, but few whisper a more profound truth than this, that sometimes the heart of the predator can beat with the rhythm of a protector. It's a gentle solution to a harsh world, a reminder that empathy is not just a human trait. It's a universal language. It's the lesson a lion taught us, with no words, only actions, about the quiet power of compassion. If this story touched your heart, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more tales of connection and compassion from the world around us. And tell us in the comments below, what's the most surprising act of kindness you've ever seen?